Imagine this. You're out at a park somewhere, walking around minding your own business, and you see somebody playing with one of these toys. And you ask them, "What are you doing?" And they respond with, "I'm crawling," or maybe they say, "I'm trailing right now." Let's talk about what crawling really is. So in this imaginary scenario, you're a complete newbie, or maybe in real life you are a complete newbie, and this is Crawling 101. Let's talk about this entire niche of the hobby, because really it's completely different than all other aspects of RC. But you may be wondering, how is it different? Is this something that's for me? And I'm going to tell you, yes, you're going to love it. As compared to all other types of RC, crawling, trailing, brawling, whatever you want to call it, is very unique in so many ways. I personally love it. It took over almost my entire love for RC. I got rid of my helicopters. I don't fly my planes anymore, and bashing is completely boring to me because I got into crawling. Now, maybe it's a little different for you, so let me know in the comments. Did crawling absolutely take over yours? Or are you not even into crawling yet and you're interested in it? Maybe you're not even interested in it, in which case, maybe listen to the entirety of this video. It could change your mind. So, what is crawling? Crawling is what we would consider off-road 4x4 trucks in a general term. All of these guys are solid axle 4x4 trucks, but as you can tell, there's a lot of variety in it, and there's a lot of different ways that you can enjoy the hobby. So we have something like this. This would be what I would consider just like a normal crawler or a trailer. Not a trailer that you pull behind, but something that you would ride on trails. This is based on a TRX4 Sport. It's pretty basic. It does not have any bells and whistles. All you have is your battery, your electronics to make it go, the motor, the ESC, your radio, and a servo. There's no shifting servos. There's no dig servos. There's no locking differential servos. It's just a plain Jane rig. And this style of rig is also going to be the most robust because you have less to go wrong. So something like this, you can go about anywhere with it. You can go walking on some dirt trails. You can get on the rocks with it. It isn't going to be the best performing of everything everywhere, but for general use on a trail, it's going to be great. So along with trailing, we also have what I would consider real crawling or crawling. Now, if we are going to be a little bit more into it, this is a Vanquish VRD, actually a VRD carbon. As you can tell, it's not as scale. It's just not quite as scale. And really, it's my fault because I'm the one that built this, and I didn't make it as scale as I could. We put a different body on it, and yeah, it looked more scale. But as it sits, it's got carbon fiber rails on it. We have ourselves a stubby motor hiding in here. That's a Crawlmaster stubby. It's a little more lightweight system. This one is set up with better geometry, more forward weight bias, which is a big thing. We have some brass on the front. We got a aluminum front axle on here. And this is going to be more of a performance-oriented build. Now, it does get a little bit more expensive, but this is what I'll consider closer to a legitimate crawler. It can certainly get on the trails, it can certainly get on the rocks, but it's not quite a master of anything, although these rigs are pretty good. Now, when we get into more performance crawling, I would say that we can just lump them all together into what I call competition crawlers. And there's still a lot of competition that goes on, and there's a few different styles of competition. We have scale competition, and then we have just the straight up comps. And the competition scene is really where we all started from. The entire industry started from guys like me building comp rigs that you just couldn't buy. This is a buy-it comp rig that would be considered a scale one with the proper body, of course. And a competition rig is going to look vastly different. So like I said, this could be a Sorka Class 2 with a little different body and a bed and stuff. But back in the day, and still today, this is MOA, or motor on axle 2.2 competition rig. As you can see, there's no body on it. This is a bodiless design, and we have a motor on the front and the rear. This particular class is really what brought crawlers into the market. It's what we all focused on. And later down the road, we had a shafty class that would basically be built from something like this. But this style of competition rig, you're probably not going to see this on the rocks unless you're actually at a competition. But when you get into it, there are extremely high performance possibilities in really, anything you want to do. But that's more of a crawler. Let's see, do I have any more crawlers, competition style? I am pretty sure this one was built to be a competition for Class 2 Sorca. So if this body was on this rig, pretty much the same thing, but this one has more modern geometry. So that's another one. But I could go on the trail with this guy if there's enough room for a big battery at least. And really, that's what I feel the difference between a trailer and a crawler is. A trailer, you're going to have much larger battery on there. And a crawler, you're probably going to have a small battery. You're going to have very forward weight bias, low center of gravity, because the crawling it's a lot harder than just trailing around. It takes a lot of building to get it to be extremely capable. So you can always, do whatever you want to with your rigs, right? The world is your oyster. But there is a segment that I would call scaling in particular. And a scaler it's not gonna be that great on performance, but it's gonna look really good. So as an example, this would be a scaler. This is a scale rig, just through and through. It's as scale as it can possibly be. It is not very capable. Doesn't have a lot of clearance, but it looks fantastic, right? This is also a scale rig. Oh, performance isn't great. This is a lifted truck. It's very scale comparatively to some of the other ones, especially the crawler, the competition crawler. This is scale. And that's a segment in and of itself that kind of leads into the next point. So how can you have fun with your crawlers? There are the people that want to go out and crawl on the rocks. There are the people that want to go out on a trail and just generally drive off-road, and that could be rocks, that could be dirt. And then there's guys that like the scale rigs and like to build. And maybe you get your scale rigs out, but maybe you're really a builder. So there is this spectrum of having fun with your rigs, that it could be you love to build them, you like to make them, and maybe you don't go out crawling a whole bunch, or the type that you really like to actually run them. Maybe you like to build them too and run them. You let me know in the comments which of this spectrum you like to go into. You more of a build it sort of guy, or are you more of a beat it sort of guy, to where you like to really run your rigs hard? And that kind of gets into bashing too. There are some drivers that are really hard on their rigs, and then there's some drivers that go out and it's more like a daily driver, to where you're going to get out on the rocks, you're going to have some fun, but you don't want to break it, because at the end of the day that's going to cost you more money and time, and you want to go out and crawl some more. So there is that kind of in between where you have lots of fun, but maybe you don't break your rig, or maybe you do like breaking your rigs. I don't know. You're gonna have to tell me about that. I'm the type to where I don't want to get in the water. I don't want to break my rigs. And honestly, as long as I don't need ultra performance, something like the TRX4 Sport, man, they are so rugged. But at the same time, I have this VRD Carbon, and I'm going to drive it in a way that I'm not going to break it. So that guy, I have no problems with it, but I also don't drive it like a basher. I don't have too fast of a system in it. I'm not going 20 miles an hour on the trail with it. So, there's so many aspects to this hobby. And I know that this is crawling 101, and I'm talking about how vast it really is, but that's the truth. There's so many different ways to have fun, which leads to the last point of so many different ways to have fun, but why is it really different than all the other aspects of RC? So the biggest thing that I would say is that it is relaxing and it is active. So as compared to flying a helicopter, flying an airplane, or even a go fast basher or racing, maybe that's crawling is relaxing. You can stand in one spot and work on the same object for hours at a time, maybe minutes at a time, depending on how hard this object is. But your ability to sit there and just kind of focus and not be like, I'm going to hit something at 50 miles an hour. Or if you're flying a UAV or a helicopter or even a plane, a real twitchy small plane, your reaction times and the amount of focus that it takes for everything else to not crash it and not burn is very high. Whereas with a crawler, you're on those rocks and you're kind of staring at it. You want to take a break? Yeah, oh, my face itches. I need a sip of water. Nothing's going to go wrong. Your rig is just right there in front of you. And this goes along with the activity of the rig, because if your rig is right there in front of you and you're driving down a trail, that means you're also going down the trail with it. And with a Go Fast or a Basher or Racer, you're standing in one spot and you're watching it go back and forth. And you're just watching it go back and forth. And the only time that you move is when it flips over, and then you have to go get it. And maybe you kind of walk around a little bit. You're in a field, or maybe you go to a skate park or something and do some big flips with it. And you have to walk around here and there to get the vantage point of this jump a little bit better or whatever. But for the most part, you're not interacting with your environment so much, except for through your RC. And that's the biggest thing for me, is that I get really bored just standing in one spot. It's not fun for me to just go back and forth or hit a jump over and over. I'm really not that fond of racing either. So for me, the interactivity of getting on the trail and walking behind my rig is one of the largest reasons that I enjoy it. Now, I do really love building too. I'm the type to where I could spend almost all my time building and have tons of fun, but I also do like to go out driving. And the building is what got me into it, and the driving is what hooked me, really. Because I can go out to a park and I can walk for miles. Big enough battery, or having a couple batteries with me. Like this little guy right here, this can last me an hour on the trail. Easy, easy. And this big thing right here, I mean, this will be 3 hours right here. This 6200, 3 hours on the trail. However, I would rather carry 3 of these instead of 1 of these in my vehicle, because it will be higher performance with a light battery. So I'd rather just carry a couple of these, switch them out, once an hour or so. And it does depend on how you drive, but me, I'm not going fast. I'm kind of taking it easy, and I'm just walking around. It's so nice. It's so enjoyable and low key. So it's relaxing, it's active, it's so multifaceted in the way that you can enjoy it. And it also, I think there's a lot of creativity in the crawling. And whether you're building ultra scale rigs like this, or whether you're building performance rigs like the ones that I've shown, you can do anything. It's a really enjoyable segment of the RC hobby, and I'm very glad to be in it. I don't know where my life would be without it, honestly. Of course, because it's my living, there's that part of it. But without having this outlet of a hobby, what other hobbies would I have? Man, I don't know. I guess I'd play more disc golf, but there's only so much disc golf that a person can play before their arm hurts. And I'm at that age to where 3 hard rounds a week is a lot. And I'm also trying to do other things. I'm trying to work out and play with my kids, and there's just not enough time in the day to do that. Whereas I can grab a crawler, I can go out for 15 minutes, come right back. I've got a pile of rocks outside, of course. I'm maybe not the average guy when it comes to crawling, but I don't know where I would be without it. So I'm very fortunate to have this in my life, and I hope that you enjoy it just as much as I do. But if you're not into it, maybe, just maybe, I could convince you with this video. It's a really fun hobby. I extremely enjoy it. So, as always, put your comments down below if you've got something to add. Maybe the reason why you enjoy it is different from the reason that I enjoy it. As always, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. If you made it this far in the video, comment boiled eggs. You love boiled eggs, right? That's why you like the hobby the most. Boiled eggs, I love them.